You're going to be so good, old.
You are. The man appears to be pleasuring himself with some bacon.
Paul Ainsworth's in the kitchen roasting plums, and Chris Stark is here bravely to talk about
testicular cancer. It's just...
Hello and welcome to Capital Breakfast After the Show. I'm Jordan North, he's Chris Stark, and that lovely lady over there is Sian Welby, and this is our new podcast. Is it still new?
Relatively.
When does it become old? 10 in?
I say this about farmers, though, because we've got a lot of young farmers who listen to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people listen to this won't sort of understand the concept of young farmers. But there's thousands and thousands of them around the UK who listen to the show, who are up often quite early, often working in isolation on their own. But they're also part of amazing young farmer communities. But what I'm always baffled about whenever I go and say DJ a night for them, you've done a load of these as well, Jordan.
They're wild.
They're so wild, such good fun. Is at what point does a young farmer just become a farmer?
In my eyes, I might be wrong, I thought it was basically the uni years you're a young farmer.
No, I think it's like under 30, under 35.
Oh, is it? So
Yeah.
it just keeps going. So it's almost like you become a young farmer at uni and you do all the stuff, and then it rumbles on, the parties keep going. You hit 30, get out.
Yeah. Then you're an old MacDonald.
Get on that combine and shut up.
Yeah. Do they have an old farmers association?
I don't know.
Or is it just a farmers association?
It's a really good question. I think you're just a young farmer forever, potentially, if you want to be.
Anyway, how's this week been? So at the time of recording, we're about to go on holiday, but you're listening to this as we're on holiday. We are off Capital Breakfast for a bit. We're all ready to go away. What are you're going to Ibiza, aren't you?
I'm going to try do a little weekend in Ibiza, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how that plays out.
Raving and misbehaving?
No real plans for it yet.
Without kids?
Without kids.
Oh, okay, so that could be
just
great.
a couple of friends.
Lovely stuff.
Who's
Which
got the
should be
kids? Karen?
Mother-in-law, Karen.
Yeah, that's great, isn't
She's
it?
a diamond.
Have you met Karen?
Yeah, I met her at Scott's wedding last year.
Of course you did, yeah. Yeah, but you've not met her, Mayor. You've not met her after like a few wines. So, have you? That's a matter of time. I think what we should do is, have we floated the idea of bringing sort of partners into this podcast to host it, or we could do a mother-in-law special.
I mean, we really could if you want to. It would be wild.
Or like family member. We each get a family member to represent us 1 week.
Now, all my mates do say to me, they're like, so I'm one of 4 boys, and all my mates, because me and my brothers are pretty close, we've all got the same mates, we've all got the same set of mates, they all say you're the least funniest, least entertaining. How you've made it on the radio and the telly, I don't know, so I could get one of my brothers on.
I think this could be great.
Yeah.
Your brothers, it's weird because they do all look very similar to you. Like when I sometimes see crazy night out videos, I'm like, is that Jordan doing that? And then I realise it's your brother.
Actually, maybe this is a better idea. So rather than swap all 3 of us out, us 2 stay, but for one of the podcasts, Jordan's brother comes in to host like 15 minutes of it.
We sound similar as well. Yeah.
That could be so fun.
The only thing is Brad's got 1 leg, so you might know.
Yeah, we can tell when it's Brad.
Yeah. So,
but I think this is a good idea. It's definitely something we should try.
we should do it. Get our siblings to do it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be quite funny, actually.
Oh, in the last podcast, just whilst we're talking about family, in the last podcast we talked about the crumb dump.
Yes.
And the crumb drawer.
We did.
Of the toaster.
I tried to call my wife to tell her about it. Couldn't get through. End up having a conversation. Again, she didn't know about this drawer that lives in the toaster that
People
collects
don't
all the
know.
crumbs.
People are going to bed at night with this hidden danger in their house.
Honestly, it's blown my mind. It's changed how I look at a toaster.
And we were encouraging people to do a crumb dump over the past couple of weeks, innit? Well, go and find your toaster tray and crumb dump.
Right, be honest, you loved saying crumb dump on the radio.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So close to the edge, close to the bone. You knew what you were doing.
Part of me wanted to mess up and say crumb dump.
Yeah, I know. Right, okay, well, there we go.
I did, because then I could have said, well, no, I was trying to say crumb dump.
Moving things on slightly, but still quite weird. We do finally have a foot picture on the...
Oh, yes!
I see that the producers, Charlotte, has picked a safe one with a sock on.
So
I thought we were getting full-on feet.
After Sian Welby discovered Wiki Feet on the last episode, have you been on it since, by the way?
I did go back on it to see if it was like a fever dream because I was like, wait, did I actually have? I couldn't believe how many pictures were on there.
People put pictures of your feet on there. You have got a higher rate than all three of us. Andrea in Lincolnshire, she met me at a sexted show. She got a selfie and she's actually, the socks are pictures of my face and her as the selfie.
That is fantastic from her. What was her name?
Andrea in
Andrea,
Lincolnshire.
that's phenomenal.
So
But
she's got
did she have these socks before?
No, so she got a picture of me back when I was leaving one of the podcast shows, and then she's got the selfies turned into socks. So Andrea,
But has she got them? Sorry, because that's kind of odd. Like, no offense, Andrea, but she's got the picture turned into socks to be able to send it in to get a picture of her foot on the background of the podcast, or she just got the picture and thought, do you know what I want to do with this picture? I want to get it turned into socks.
yeah, that's exactly what she's done. So,
Genius from her.
have you got any
Why?
fans that have got pictures of you on their feet?
No, I don't.
No.
Do you have any fans of tattoos of you?
Yes.
Do you actually?
And it was weird. Do you not remember? I met him in. It wasn't. It was. I think it was coincidence, but you were like, no, that was definitely.
When was that?
I was coming out of Sainsbury's near my house. This podcast listener, to help us fix my boss, was like, oh my God, it's you. And I was like, oh, listen to the podcast. And then he went, look. He had a tattoo of my face on his leg.
No.
Yeah.
That's when I feel like you've made it. If someone's bothered to have you inked on their body
Mm-hmm.
for life, that's amazing.
Yeah. Me and William, to be fair.
And I think the band Foals,
Yeah?
the lead singer Yanis.
Yes.
I reckon quite a lot of people have got tattoos of him, but Yanis from Foals looks identical to Jordan North.
Right.
So I think he can claim a few more.
Me and Chris interviewed him once, and I said, does anyone ever come up to you and say you look like Jordan North off the radio? And he said, no, never.
But
that was
honestly, the
that.
picture, do you want to see a picture of Yanis from
Yes,
Foals?
please,
to see
show
this?
me.
Can we show Shani a picture of Yanis from Foals here?
Because
Do you know
I
what's-
don't think I look like it. It's just
Do
the
you know what's
curly hair
ama-
and the
do you
beard.
know what's amazing? Once we recorded something together. It was an interview we'd done with Yanis from Foals, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, hang on a minute. But we put up a picture of us, of me with Yanis,
Oh, yeah.
and genuinely people thought it was Jordan.
Oh, okay. His beard is a lot like thicker than yours, but actually I can see it in the eyes and the nose.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm taller than him.
Are you?
Yeah.
It's Jordan North a few years ago though as well. There was a point in time you looked identical.
Can we just talk back to this? Was I that, when we first met, was I that different?
Yeah,
No, I wasn't.
you were, mate.
Was I?
You were.
What's that story you always tell us about where the bosses took one look at him and went, get him off stage?
Yeah, there was
Oh.
one in particular. So
God.
we were hosting a concert and we'd gone out and had a big night out the night before, which wasn't unusual, it's all good fun. And the next day we're on stage presenting this thing, and you tend to kind of, I don't know, put on a smarter shirt or just try and look a bit like you deserve to be on a stage slightly.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I'm side of stage. I've just done my links. Jordan has then turned up and he's in a Burnley shirt, right, and looking rough, stinking of booze.
Oh, no,
like,
George.
just a mess.
Oh, no, look at that picture. We'll have
He
to
walks-
insert this into the podcast.
He walks out on stage with Maya Jama, who just always looks glamorous.
So she'd look flawless, hair and
She
makeup,
looked
outfit
amazing.
sorted.
I was on with my jammer.
And he bowls out with a Burnley shirt. And the guy next to me, who was one of the bosses, who wasn't aware because Jordan was quite new, was like, "What is that?"
What is that?
And basically said the standards of slips.
Jordan, you couldn't have higher standards now if you tried. Like you now as like you care so, as in such a good way. Like you look after your appearance. You care about fashion and style.
Mate, he's a million capital. Has been good for you. It really has.
I was very much skinny jeans and Vans.
That's okay, though.
My whole thing, and then I just started mixing it up a bit.
I can't get over how many people fancy you.
What?
It's constant. It's
No,
all I
they
hear.
don't.
Oh, mate, it's all. Whenever I'm
they-
out, I'm just trying to have a nice peaceful time or on holiday or whatever. It's like, I really fancy Jordan. And it's everyone.
No, they
guys,
don't.
girls,
Yeah, I get a lot of
all
DMs
them.
where they go, "Oh,
It's-
that Jordan."
Yeah, mate. It's honestly, there's a real thirst on for you, and you deserve it because, as Sean says, you have worked hard to look like you've done your own Snog, Marry, Avoid. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Oh, you have. You've done the glow up.
It's like you've put yourself in your own booth and come out of it in a kind of really quite magnificent way.
The only thing that I have done is I've got a brace for my teeth.
It's
but
not
your
just a
beard's in
brace.
shape, your hair's good, you dress well.
Honestly, mate, it's actually, I do mean this in a nice way. It is wonderful. Because sometimes, especially doing the radio, and you could be sat down for a long time, you can feel a bit of a slob sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've been exactly. And you do want to try and. Everyone wants to feel good about themselves and all of that, and you should be very proud because you have done a lot. It all sounds like I'm insulting him, but I do mean it in a real positive way.
You said to Sean a few episodes ago, I've never fancied you.
Yeah.
Is that relevant for me right now? Or?
Have I ever fancied you? Oh God, we're opening up a whole new thing now, aren't we? This is great.
Hear me out.
Next week we're going to be asking you these questions.
I think that wrist thing, that Keith Lemon wrist thing you've got on,
It does it for you.
It's quite hot.
I think you find weakness hot.
Oh yeah, we better say that Chris has got some sort of glove on today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell everyone what happened. This is a millennial injury.
Long story cut short, I gave a 5-year-old a high five, and next thing I know, I'm having to go into the sort of walk-in centre at the hospital.
Yeah, but what's great about
it's
this?
a sprain. It's not a break.
Yeah, but it's the way you went. The thing is, Sean, it wasn't the high five.
Yeah,
it was to the side.
It was
that
by
got me.
to the side.
Yeah.
And swear, this kid just went like wallop and followed through like a tennis shot. And it hurt at the time, but since then it's just got worse and worse. How bad can it be that a 5-year-old has put me in hospital?
It's age,
I've been beaten up by a 5-year-old.
You actually have.
It's not even my kid.
It is age. I play a game of paddle now and I am stiff for days afterwards, honestly.
You do enjoy it.
Yeah. Welcome back, and right now we're going to do our best moments from the week. Sean, your best moment of the week.
I haven't told you guys this story yet, so I've been saving it for the podcast. I do this now. I sort of go, oh, wait, I'll tell you the podcast.
That's
because
good.
we can't say it on the radio, some of this stuff, because I need to say it in its full way. And by the time you've edited it for radio, it doesn't work. So, a couple of weeks ago, it was the big Jurassic World release of the movie, right? And I had gone and done an interview after the summertime ball that Monday. And you know, we were all in a bit of a state on the Monday, weren't we?
We looked rough, didn't we?
And I couldn't cancel this interview because it was quite a big interview. It was with Jonathan Bailey, Scarlett Johansson, and Mahershala Ali, who are all the massive stars from that film, okay? Massive, massive guess. And I had to come straight from work here.
In a tracksuit.
You know the state I was in.
Yeah.
So luckily, I still had, because we go to work so early, I still didn't have to check out of the hotel we stayed the night in. So after the show...
That's outrageous.
Which
by
is
the way.
unbelievable, isn't
Sorry,
it?
just on that point, because I sometimes think that we turn up to a hotel, go and do work, like, not going to say a full day's work, but we do
the show.
a whole radio show, everything before it, everything after it, and can still get back in time for the breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
Like, that's mental.
It is mad.
So it's mad. So I went in and I had a shower and I got myself ready for this interview. So dressed myself all smart, but then had to repack the bag with all my costume in and whatever. And the thing that didn't fit in were my shiny silver sequin boots.
Yes.
Right? So this interview is in one of the poshest hotels in London, the Corinthia. I've got a suitcase and some shiny stripper boots, right? I'm in reception. It literally looks like the hookers arrived. It's Pretty Woman. I literally look like they panicked when I walked in and they were trying to get me out of the way because I was bringing down the whole place.
They thought you were a sex worker.
Definitely 100%. It was literally like, right, who's she here for? Get her away. Get her out of plain sight.
God.
I needed to
All
prep.
power to you, if that's your thing. But do you think they can sort of spot it on the way? Do you think it was the boots?
It was, of course, I'm talking sequin shiny knee-high boots in my hand and a suitcase. And I turned up and they were panicking going, oh God, how do we get rid of this? You know, they were and I needed to prep for this interview. And so I wanted to sit in the foyer, but they couldn't obviously say what they were thinking, but they didn't want me in the foyer because of the boots and the thing. And they were trying to hide me and they pushed me to they were like, you could sit here. And it was like a table hidden in a corner behind a pillar. And then after I was writing my notes, they eventually they were like, I'm sorry, we're about to have like the guests in now. And they were basically like, can you move?
Before that happened to me, I was at a fancy hotel and I was at the bar. It wasn't a fancy hotel, but it was a decent one. And I there was a bloke and a woman, and I just automatically thought they were a couple. I was wrong, and I got chatting to him. You know how it is. I only got chatting to him because, and I look back now, you could tell they didn't really want to speak. I only got chatting to him because I was eating olives at the bar, but it turns out it was her olives.
You were eating her
I
olives.
thought they were bar ones.
Oh.
And she went, she was proper scout. She went, they're my olives then, love, but you're all right. I was like, oh, sorry, what am I like? I thought they were bar. Chatting to her, chatting away to her and chatting to him for ages. And I was like, asking him loads of questions about how long we've been together for and stuff like that.
Stop it.
They were being, he was being really awkward. She was being really chatty. And it's only when I went up to my room, I thought,
that's the situation right there.
she was a lot younger than him. She was done up to the neck. She was lovely, like, but yeah.
I've got it's not quite the same.
A pretty
story.
woman situation. It all goes on. It all goes on.
I was in a
does.
hotel bar, right? And I was with. Actually, I'm going to say it. I was with David Hasselhoff.
Oh my God! What?
And a
Why?
popular radio presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all know who that would be, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what era is this?
This was a while ago. This
Yeah.
would have been.
Like 2010?
Oh yeah,
That kind of
like
thing.
15 years
Yep.
ago,
Yep.
something like that.
Okay.
But it always lives with me, this experience, because I remember being in there and I remember not having very much money at all and thinking it was amazing because David Hasselhoff, he wasn't drinking, but he was buying all the drinks and we were getting bottles of white wine. I remember at one point I had to go to the bar. It was a posh hotel in London. I had to go to the bar, buy a bottle of wine, and I was thinking, I haven't got any money, like I'm screwed here. And I looked at the price of that bottle of wine, and I swear it was about 100 quid.
Jesus.
And it was just, I was thinking, like,
Help.
I'm out my depth. Anyway, we're chatting on the table, drinks are all going, stuff like that. And then this guy comes over and just drops a note in between David Hasselhoff and the radio presenter in question, and then walks off straight away. And I sort of thought, that's a bit weird, like, because it happened quite quickly, and I could just catch the bloke going into the lift in the hotel. And when we opened up the note, it said, me and my wife would like to invite you, room 23, whatever it was, 237, let's just say. But it wasn't clear who the invite was for because it was kind of thrown in front of all three of us.
There's three of you.
And I still to this day can't work out if it was David Hasselhoff, the radio presenter, or me that was being offered.
Oh.
What a compliment, though, in a way.
And if you are listening and this is ringing any bells, you know, you try to invite either me, the radio presenter, or don't know why I'm not
yeah,
just
after
naming
the
him.
show
Or
at capitalfm.com.
please get in touch if that was you.
What a threesome that'd be, though.
Which one? The husband, wife, and Hasselhoff, or
Chris
husband,
Stark,
wife, and me,
Hasselhoff and radio presenter.
or go again, husband, wife, and
No, not them two. Just having you three there would be a cracking threesome to tell the grandkids.
This radio presenter.
to tell the grandkids back in my
Something
day.
to tell the grandkids about.
Wait, but I'm still not. I'm not sure which radio presenter that you're
come
on about.
You
Oh,
No,
you
I
know.
don't,
the radio
I
presenter.
don't.
Very good.
The only reason I'm not naming it is because I think it adds mystery to this
Okay,
story.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
It's
A good
well,
friend of yours.
It was
Yeah.
Scott.
It was Scott. There we go.
They were
Morning,
friends with-
Scott.
They were friends with Hasselhoff. He was friends with Hasselhoff for a while, weren't
Yeah.
they? They did like loads of.
They had a
TV
really tight
series.
thing going on. It was. Because I remember seeing David Hasselhoff in this hotel, and he was telling me when he stays in a hotel. Oh, I can't quite get this story right. The hotel that he stays in, the reason why he always stays in that hotel is he was saying because the door frames are big enough.
For
So
him.
he'll only go in a hotel where the door frames are like bigger than him.
Do you know he's massive in Germany? When the Berlin
Yes.
Wall,
Huge.
Yes.
when the Berlin Wall come down, he was singing on the Berlin Wall, and it was like a moment in German history.
Yeah, they do love him, don't they?
Yeah,
the
that's why, that's
Germans
exactly it.
love him. The
I'd love to be really randomly famous somewhere else. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And also, 15 years ago, when we were talking about this, he was so famous then.
Yeah, yeah.
It was one of
Baywatch.
those.
Now.
He's still famous, but it's like, even when I was walking around London, that little bit of London around this hotel, it's like, it was just paparazzi everywhere. Probably was my first experience of just, this is like mad showbiz world. And I was so new and just on the peripherals of radio at that point.
yeah. Speaking of showbiz, we were on the Ultimate Showbiz show as well this morning recently. Is it weird when we go on This Morning, Wheels? Does it feel, because that's your...
I never know if you like it or not.
I actually do like it.
Yeah, I
Although
feel-
I'm obviously always on edge because because obviously,
Because you walk in and put your pass on there and everything.
You've got a
It's bit
pass,
like-
you know everyone.
well, obviously it's taken a long time to get that relationship built.
Yes.
It was an 8 years in the running. You know what I mean? I tried to get on
You
the hub,
grafted.
and I tried to do competitions, and I gradually get myself to the point where I'm allowed to be on the sofa. Do you know what I mean? So I'm always a little bit worried that the two brothers are going to come in and say something that gets me cancelled.
Do you think it's a brothers vibe? Because as we were walking through the doors of TV Centre, I did feel a bit like when I bring my kids to the radio to come out and have a look around. It had that sense of like, come on, come in, come see how it all
through
works,
here.
and like, don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything. Be nice. Say
nice,
please,
yeah.
say thank
No,
you.
it is. Do you know what? Genuinely, it is actually really nice, because I always think, well, between the three of us, there's not much you couldn't throw at us that one of us would answer or cover for the other one. Or so I always feel very good when I'm in your
I love
company,
that.
because it's a really safe space, and I always think, God, we don't really even need briefing us three, because
No.
between us, we you know we're
Talk
fine.
for England, can't we?
Yeah, exactly. But I always sense a tiny touch of panic from you both, just that either something weird's happening that you don't understand. Chris spotted that pineapple, and that threw you.
Oh,
they
we've got to talk about
always-
this.
Yeah, and when we go on this morning, they always put a pineapple next to Chris. And we
It's
We've
don't
not
know
said
why.
this on the show, by the way.
I don't think
This
we've ever
is-
spoke about it, have
But
we?
I think we should finally put this to bed. Why are This Morning trolling us like this?
They've got obviously some running joke that you're a swinger.
I think that's it.
And
I actually think that's
The
it.
first time we ever did This Morning together, they handed you the pineapple. Do you remember? They made you hold it.
So we've never understood this. So
We were about to go
seconds
live.
before we go on, they hand me a pineapple and go, "I'll just hold this, Chris." And because we haven't seen the show before, but you know, in the hour before, because we've gone straight there from
Yeah.
the radio, I just assume, oh, they were talking about pineapples before, or this is some sort of joke. But when we were there last time, all of a sudden in the corner, they didn't ask me to hold it, but by the sofa that we were on.
Well, when we sat down, I
it's a
went, "Look, Chris,
pineapple."
look over there." And bear in mind, because I see that set a lot, because I'm in there once a week normally. There's not always a pineapple there. There's really not. It's not always by the sofa. And I looked over. I thought they've put that pineapple next to the sofa
So
again.
what's that about?
Is there someone out this morning that's in the same swinging circle as you? And
Well, no, I don't think there is.
it'll be pampas grass or whatever it's called.
I don't know. I think there is something going on, that there is a running joke, and I'm assuming it isn't targeted at you, because you would have spotted the pineapple when you
It's
say
only
host
when
it.
it's only when you're on the show, Chris.
But Jordan as well. Like, Jordan's been there both times. Are we certain it's not a Jordan thing?
I don't think so, because they
No.
made you hold
They
it.
made me hold it. I
I've
get
been on
that,
a
but-
while, and I covered for Sean last summer when she was off, and I've never noticed the pineapple apart from when you're there.
Also, I don't know. I feel like this is, you know me well enough. I feel like I can bring this up to you. When you bravely went on This Morning to talk about what you've been through with testicular
Was
cancer.
there a pineapple there?
No, more that they were boiling those plums.
Oh, that was a bad one. I actually
in
we
the
do need
in
to
the
talk about
cooking
this.
segment.
Yeah.
They were boiling plums.
Right.
That's a piss take.
Do you know what was on before me on This Morning? Someone comes up to me. So this is mad, by the way.
So Chris just got on to announce that you had testicular cancer.
Yeah,
And it was
and,
so
and I
brave
wanted
of
to go
you.
on, and they'd invited us along, and it was amazing, the reaction to it, by the
Yeah,
way.
it was great.
What it did in terms of the amount of people who saw it and started a conversation about testicular cancer, phenomenal. And I also want to take this moment and say thank you to This Morning, because only that show can do conversations like that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so amazing that you know, we talked about it on the radio show, and then they go, actually, this is a place that you can come on the TV and talk about it, and it's, you know, so thank you This Morning for doing it. The one thing I would say, I'm not 100% sure it's appropriate to have a chef on roasting plums before I...
It was just
It's the most This Morning thing ever. I love it.
Cloda's in the kitchen boiling plums.
No,
and up
I'll
next, Paul.
No, do you know what was amazing? It
What?
gets even better. I've
Go
not
on.
told you. So the chef in question was Paul Ainsworth,
Right.
who happens to be a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Like,
Brilliant.
complete coincidence, right? So he's made this roasted plums recipe. No one's put two and two together, I think, until the day. And they've realised they've gone, only probably when they've practiced their coming up.
It's going to be a meme, this.
Paul Ainsworth's in the kitchen roasting plums, and Chris Stark is here bravely to talk
About
about
testicular cancer. It's just, you couldn't write it. And then, because we've not spoken about this on here, and I really want to bring this back up because we laughed about this so much the other day. The other part of the story where you thought Jordan was going to come on for moral support.
Oh, this is good as well.
I got a call off my agent saying, will you go on this morning with Chris to talk about it? I was like, of course I will, yeah, he's my mate. And then I was like, great. And then somewhere it got lost.
Hold on. At this point,
Yeah.
This morning called me and go, look, we just want to check. We've invited Jordan to come along as well. Is that okay with you? And I was like, that's amazing that Jordan would come along, because, it's quite a heavy thing for me to talk about, and you don't want to get it wrong. That's always the overwhelming thing. You don't want to get it wrong. So as you said earlier, Sian, it's quite nice when all three of us get to do stuff, because if you miss something, the other one picks it up and that sort of thing. So I've gone 100%. Let's get Jordan North. And then they said to me, yeah, he's saying he's up for getting examined.
It scares me every time.
Or like, we're going to see if he'd be willing to get an examination. I was like, that's brilliant of him, because if Jordan does it, everyone else would do it.
Lead by example.
Now, what I'm imagining when I said yes to that, I'm imagining Jordan goes behind a screen.
Yeah,
and
just
just
maybe
sort of
downstairs in the medical tent.
Exactly,
of
and
some
Jordan's just popped into this room next door to go get a test. That would be amazing, right? So you then get the call.
Yeah, and I didn't know, and then it's called. I was like, oh, they want to examine you live on air, and I was like, oh, great, thinking it'd be behind the screen. No, they wanted me to get my bollocks and my cock out on air, right?
But for a great cause.
Great cause. So I'm stuck.
Anyway, so right, let's get the back and forth right.
Go on.
So then I get a call from someone this morning going, Jordan Ross bravely decided to get examined. He's up for getting examined live on camera.
She was explaining to me how I'd do it. I'd have to hold my penis up against my stomach, covering it with my...
By the way, I think I was like, that would be amazing. Yes,
of
please,
course you
let's
would have
get
encouraged
Jordan.
it.
Let's get Jordan.
So you're going, actually, I really do need this for me to be able to come on.
Yeah,
I think I need
It
Jordan.
would be really good for Jordan to...
Yeah, so they were really pushing it, and he said to me next day, will you do it? Now, I would have done it, but the one, I've never told you this, but one of the reasons why I never did it is...
What? Oh, here we go. What?
I have really abnormal massive bollocks. Seriously.
Yeah.
What? Abnormally long?
Yeah.
I've got bigger balls than the average man.
big
What, you've
balls.
seen them?
We've had a discussion about this.
And I just think I would have been a
Would have
meme. And it would have been...
It would have distracted from the cause.
Honestly, I used to have a party trick at uni. I could put them both in a pint glass and do it non-handed. Right, I was called Space Hopper for a lot at uni.
Oh my God.
And that is why I didn't want to do it, because I just thought...
Because how can I go and do a really serious thing?
And people
And I've got my friend Jordan North to get examined.
how big my bollocks
Paul Ains was boiling plums.
But Paul Ains just falling plums over there. Jordan gets his out.
dipping his in the
And just Ben Shepherd's like, what the fuck?
I was up for it because he said, "Hey, look, it'll be fine." I was like, yeah, but I just didn't want my big bollocks to distract away from the conversation.
I think that's fair
Which
enough.
I think was the right thing to do,
Thank you.
lads.
We need to do now our famous quotes from the notes. These are little quirks that Sian Welby writes down in the notes on her phone, stuff that we say off air that usually we bring up when we next go for a pint. So what have you got for us, please, this week, Sian?
This week it was, oh, my nipples are so sore.
Oh, we didn't. So we've just talked about what happened on this morning when you went on to talk about testicular cancer, but this weekend you were on this morning with sore nipples.
No, sorry. Okay, yeah, we went on this morning. Last time we were on this morning, I had... This is me, because I did have really, really sore nipples. I'd put this shirt on, and it had kind of embroidery underneath. So producer Jimmy kindly stepped in, and this is where having the production team is so great. They're really good at managing situations. And I was in...
You could have called Gareth or Brent even if there was an issue.
If this had been you, the drama that would have happened.
Oh, because I had a wisdom tooth and got management to book a dentist. You're never going to live it down. I did get a dental appointment in the boss's office, but anyway.
So anyway, he managed to find what he called a second skin.
It was like a blister plaster, like the clear ones, wasn't it?
But he had Jogger's nipple from crochet on his top.
Which was rough. I felt it.
Yeah.
It was an
It was-
expensive shirt, that, and actually not good from that company because they should have had a softer bit on the inside.
Your nipples.
Don't. I'm
I'll
going to
feed
get
that back.
started.
Your nipples.
gonna get on a campaign.
Sean's gonna be on one about this. She's
I
too
just-
much burdening you at the moment.
I
Don't
just-
let it be my nipples as
Just
well.
couldn't believe the state of the soreness that you were red for.
It was
Chris.
really, honestly, it really, to the point we were worried because you then told me a nipple can fall off.
I have heard before about joggers' nipple, where marathon runners and stuff have had so much friction for the hours of running that their nipple has actually just almost been sawed off. Do you know what I mean? It's just come off.
Eroded away.
Yeah,
Like a
it's been-
tic-tac.
So
Like, just,
Chris had this image, didn't you, that you'd be sat on this morning sofa.
yeah. Nipple falls off.
Or
and I then have
bleeding.
to apologise to Cat D.
And the nation.
What did you say on air?
I'm sorry, Cat. It appears my nipples fall off.
But I just imagined you with big blood streaming down. So you ended up putting this second skin on a
Yeah.
nipple plaster.
Yeah, and at the time, producer Jimmy joked to me that he was like, "You're going to struggle to get that off. It will come off when it wants to come off, the second skin. You know, I guess after a few showers and that sort of thing." That night I wanted it off because it looked odd in the mirror to
You
me.
looked like you were
Looked odd in the
about to have
mirror.
an operation.
It
didn't
did
you?
look weird.
It just looked odd in
It
the mirror.
looked weird.
So
It was
you've
unsettling, if anything.
checked
It was unsettling.
We've
that
got
one.
to check out this video that Chris Stark sent into the WhatsApp group at like 9 o'clock at night. Have a listen.
This is just nightmare stuff here. I can't get it off. I'm just going to go for it. 3, 2, 1. Ah!
Look at the state of my nips because they look like in the second skin as I'm trying to take off the plaster, they are squashing it and it looks like little spaceships almost. What are those sherbet sweets?
Yeah.
Flying saucers.
Flying saucers.
My nipples look like flying saucers.
Do you know what? Go on.
And as I ripped off that second skin, the pain.
What? Because you waxed yourself.
Yeah, and I've only got little hairs. I'm fairly
looks so
hairless.
painful.
You are a bit of an egg.
Honestly, it's like me and Jordan average out to
Yeah, because you've
level.
got a lot of chest hair.
I do have a lot of chest hair, yeah.
He's so hairy, right? Whereas I've just got a few wispies,
Yeah.
I'm
generally speaking.
quite hairy. What I got from that video is this is where my mind goes, is I personally would have wiped that mirror down before you sent it in the group.
Oh, was the mirror a bit dirty?
Was it
Just
dirty?
needed a vinegar spray, that.
Vinegar spray.
That's all.
You can't win. I find when we upload videos of anything,
I don't ever
there's
post
always
from my house, ever.
but no one appreciates the
No.
video for what you intend it to
No,
do
because
ever.
people are ready to attack.
Yeah,
They're
it's
ready
always
to criticise the other random thing, like
Yeah.
say in the background, dirty mirror.
yeah. You see, he's pulled me up in a dirty mirror now, and that'd be in my brain.
That's trolling. That is.
That is trolling.
You are. You're
Sorry.
being a troll.
Sorry. And Ria's going to have something to say about that one.
She'll be really disappointed when she listens to this,
Oh.
and I assume
What
she
did,
will.
quickly? What did she think? Did she see you with? Did she?
No,
see
because
it?
if I'm being really honest, I was trying to remove the second skin because I was hoping to. I don't know.
Were you on a promise?
Oh,
well, no,
stop
but
it.
you never know. Sometimes
Imagine if
it's
she'd
sort
have
of,
just. Imagine you having this
But
lovely
you-
moment and you'd forgotten that they
and
were
you
on.
would-
can't
be
take off
pissed
your
off.
shirt. You'd be pissed if you took off your shirt and
And
saw someone
I'd be like,
with
"What
plasters
are
on
you
their nips.
And you would be pissed off if you were about to and they were like, oh no. You'd be so annoyed in yourself.
What do you mean? If someone said sorry, okay, that's put me off.
Yeah, that's
The plaster
that's
thing.
Put me off. Yeah, you would be annoyed.
I worry about this episode in many ways.
Yeah,
It
it's
feels
fine.
like we've got into this sort of personal stuff so quickly. But that explains that quote.
I don't know
sore
whether
nipples.
I risk the next one.
Do
then.
the other one.
Well, what's the next one?
Well, the next one says I've always wanted to do that. Udder to mouth.
I have always wanted to taste milk straight from the cow, and I've said that. That was the quote I said.
It wouldn't come out cold like fresh
No.
milk though. It'd
you
be
imagine
warm.
the cow's refrigerated. It's not.
It's not, is it? And but I bet it'd be quite. I bet you, because obviously our milk we had's probably processed and stuff in it. We would find it if we went straight from udder to mouth.
It does. No. But there is. I get
it
what
even
you're saying.
safe
There is,
to do so?
Yeah, it is. And some well, it's that whole pasteurized, thing that the process that goes in getting the milk to the fridge that you have. But there'll be, again, we're talking about farmers here and young farmers, right? I reckon there will be farmers that have squeezed one out into a cup of tea on the morning, like so.
I'm gonna wet myself.
But also,
You can't please just out of
Squeeze one
context
out.
have. I'm sure there's been a young farmer that's squeezed one out into a cup of tea.
because it's a perk of the job, isn't it? I always
it's
love this
not.
about people and their jobs. Everyone in every job has at least one perk. And for me, being a dairy farmer would be the idea that you do have a supply of milk that you can just sort of point the udder one way and just give it some straight to mug. Now that would be, for me, a peak farm experience. All Jordan's doing is cutting out the mug.
Yeah, that's true.
Straight to mouth.
Straight to mouth. Did you about that woman that was bathing in milk? She left a note to Milkman because she read in a magazine that it's really good to bathe in milk. It's good for your skin.
Yeah.
So she left a note saying, I want 40 pints of milk. And Milkman looked at her and thought, oh, she can't be right here. So he knocks on the door and she couldn't answer. She's getting changed. So she was on ring doorbell. He said, "Hiya, love. It says here you want 40 pints of milk." She says, "Yeah, I've read somewhere that you've got to bathe in it and it makes your skin really good." He went, "All right, fair enough." He said, "Foot bath?" She said, "Yeah, I want enough foot bath." He said, "Pasteurised?" She said, "No, just up to my tits."
It's got a joke for any topic.
But he always kind of nails them as well, which is odd.
You're
going to be so good old.
You are. That's so true.
Next week, we are back on air and we're going to be kicking off with a live show from Wimbledon. Sean, you weren't at Wimbledon last year. It was class.
What, without me?
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah, you were having...
You did. You said the intonation was wrong there.
Yeah, you weren't there last week.
You weren't there last week and it was class.
God, you come in dragging you this year, though.
No,
it is cool because I've done it. I have done Wimbledon live shows before and they are fun.
Did you do it in Roman before?
Yeah,
it's
but
been a yearly thing.
There's always... Wait, how much of this can we get into?
No,
there's basically always some strange rule that we can say we're at Wimbledon, but because we're not an official partner, we can't say that we're with Wimbledon. And so we ended up just being in the queue.
Yeah, this
really?
time we're sorted.
Which was slightly weird.
But I was worried that I completely messed it up last year and that we wouldn't be invited back because it's very strict there. It's, very traditional.
Yes.
I thought I was going to get kicked out because we were using these toilets that we were next to up until like 9 o'clock, and then they decided that we weren't allowed to use them anymore. I'm on air, so it's like I've got 2 songs sang together.
Yep.
And at Capital, 2 songs sang together is like, 4 minutes? You've got literally 3 minutes to have a quick wee to get back in time for the next link. This lady was there. She's like a bouncer. She wouldn't let me in. I was like, "No, I really need to go." And she's like, "No." I went, "Oh, we're here from Global Radio, we're here from Capital." And she's like, no, these toilets now out of bounds. I've been using them all morning. I was like, literally.
Please.
That's our desk there. We're broadcasting from there. She wouldn't let him in, so I just ran past her. Went in, she went, "Sir, no, sir." And she went and got security. I ran past her because I was desperate for a wee. Needed to get back on after the link. And then security come over and I had to apologise. Just like, really, like, "No, these toilets are out of bounds now." And then...
It was another Jordan-shaped drama. And I was sat on this table the whole time going, "What's he doing?"
And then it got worse. Then the reason why she wouldn't let me in is because they were cleaning the toilets. And they were emptying the toilets, which if you've ever known at like portable toilets at festivals and stuff, there's a stench.
Yes.
So the stench made me heave, and I was sick at Wimbledon into a plant, which they take very serious. And the head gardener was not happy.
Right. Okay. So are we allowed back this year then, or
Yeah.
what?
So it's unbelievable. We've been invited back, but
Apparently so.
I bet there's been a whole staff
we'll,
turnaround.
It'll
No one
be
knows.
a classic. Me and you on a charm offensive.
Ah, okay. We'll have to go full corporate.
Yeah.
All the thank yous.
I do this sometimes. It's the great thing about doing a radio show with 3 of us. If one lets the side down, no offence, but if one lets the side down, the other 2 can step in. If I end up, I'm saying it'd be the same with me. If I threw up in a bush or something, the great thing is you 2 come in, even chilled.
and
It's like
I have been nicknamed Damage Control before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can believe that. Also, last year there was this game we're playing with holes in the wall and a tennis racket. It's
Guys, how did you get that signed off?
this wasn't on the radio.
Oh.
It was just afterwards. It was like a game they had with Vodafone. Chris, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Right, Chris went, "Watch this." It was being filmed with his back to the wall. So there's like
staring at the camera.
There's like 6 or 7 holes in the wall that you had to get your tennis ball in, which was hard enough. He had his back to the wall. He just picked up a tennis ball, hit it with a bat, not facing it, and it went straight in one of the holes.
In the smallest hole.
We'll put the video up. It is the greatest thing.
What are you laughing at?
Welby.
Sometimes Chris delivers something deadpan with the maddest eye contact. Have you seen that clip from Extras? Where they're trying to say, pop
knob in
in
fanny.
fanny. He just did that then.
Not up
He
the
gave me
arse.
the hole. He went, smallest hole.
Sean.
For those of you watching on Global Play, because you can watch all of this, we'll put the clip in.
Right,
the edit.
so basically what I've done here, I'll tell you where this has
It's
come
amazing.
from, Sean. Ivan Toney's a football player who was taking penalties without looking, so I thought I'll take this shot without looking.
See what happens.
See what happens.
Didn't even react.
Show
That's
me
what I
again.
do.
Nonchalant.
This is the problem with AI.
This is one of its ruined
clip,
moments, hasn't
everyone
it?
thinks because it's Vodafone in the background and all of this sort of thing. Everyone thinks,
They think you cheated it.
yeah, it's like a thing you can get done at Wimbledon. Honestly, that shot was real, and it annoys me that it hasn't had billions of views.
But AI can be good. If you ever got caught in a compromising position, we could just say it was AI.
Yeah, but you can't win because now if you do something good, it's AI. I don't like AI. It
that's
stresses
true.
me
Yeah,
out.
that's
for another episode.
That's for another episode. Right, let's get into the questions now from the mailbox.
Right, I'm going to start off with a DM that I got from a girl called Jess. So she ended up DMing me on Instagram, and then I think she's emailed in as well. So we're going to definitely talk about this. Do you remember, Chris, we were talking about junkets, movie junkets, where sometimes the energy you get back
Yeah.
is so down or so dry, you think, well, what if I did this back to you? How would you feel?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It can be awkward in that situation because you want people to like you when you're interviewing them and you want to get on
do.
with them. And if they're not giving much back, you feel like you're doing something wrong, which isn't the
Exactly.
case. But
And you're so grateful when a celebrity is so giving in those interviews and they match your energy. So this is what we were saying. Well, imagine if we started matching theirs, right? So Jess put this to the test at work.
oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. So she's normally the person that's like a bundle of energy. She's like the pick-me-up person. But she said at work, she was the only one doing that, and it was starting to annoy her. So when she heard that episode, she's like, right, I'm going to give them what they give to me. So she said that she spent 3 days keeping herself to herself. She stopped being bubbly. And apparently on the 4th day, the whole office was so concerned about her. They started checking in on her and trying to make her laugh. She said even the 63-year-old Susan was dancing to make her laugh.
Oh.
And she said the theory does work.
Oh, right.
So match their energy.
Match their energy, because then it makes them go, oh, right. Oh, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So it could work. One of us has got to try this with, a big movie star when we go into
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Do you ever worry, or is it just me being really needy and insecure that we're too energetic on the radio in the mornings?
Sometimes.
Do you worry? Because there's a fine balance, but also that's our job.
I think if
I know
you're
it's
not
not
in
for
the mood,
everyone.
Yeah, but if you're not in the mood for that, we'll let you off for one day. You can listen to something else. But I would say there'd be nothing worse than turning on to 3 people being drab and down.
But also I think 3 of us are different. So actually, things that you two might get really excited about, I could name a few of them, don't necessarily excite me the same way. And the same between all of us. So actually, I think it's just kind of what I like to think with this show is that you can tune in and relate to one of us at any given moment in any given situation. Yeah. And I'd quite like it if that was the case. Like, I don't know. Like, I never feel uncomfortable. Just being myself with you two. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you two have got really excited about something, I kind of go, oh, fair enough, but
I
I'm not
don't
necessarily going to be jumping up and down the same way.
I hear what you're saying. We'll never fake it. We'll never fake excitement, but we are quite enthusiastic people. My go-to in my brain is always like, what would Ant and Dec do?
Yeah.
And I think they would never open a show down just because maybe there was something serious going off or whatever. Like, you have to go, this is escapism for whatever point of your day you're going into.
Yeah, I always worry that sometimes I'm like, this is. I don't really shout. But...
You're paranoid about your hires, aren't you?
Hiya.
Well, as in, like, when you record anything, say if we're doing a promo, you'll go, I can't say hiya, I'll do everyone's head in.
Yeah. Hiya. Yeah.
See? But we like it.
Let's go on to another one then. What have we got, Chris?
Yeah, Kira in Wolverhampton's been on. Says, hi Kira, by the way. Says, Sian, you mentioned you did loads of different jobs when you were getting into TV and radio. What was your worst one?
Oh, how long have we got?
That's a great question. I've done some random jobs.
You used to work as a waitress in a cocktail bar, didn't you?
I was a waitress. I've been customer service. I've been customer service at Waitrose for a long time. Someone once returned a load of... Wait, what was it? Let me get it right. A load of oysters because they said they were horrible, but they'd eaten all of them and they just wanted the 50 quid refund because they were obviously very expensive. There was things like that. I used to love the customer service desk because I felt like I had a lot of
You
power.
are so customer service.
No to the
you are.
refund.
Did you say no to the refund?
Yeah. Have I ever told you the story from New Look? This might not make the cut, but I'll go for it. When I worked at New Look, the best thing about it was the walkie-talkie. Clearly, I liked broadcasting.
Yes.
But what was fun is you'd be in a precinct, so you'd talk to Wilcos, and the Wilcos would be chatting, and you'd speak to Netto, and you were all keeping each other informed about...
Oh, you're all on the same walkie-talkie?
Yeah, and there was a security guard. There was a few that would like look after all of us. So we'd go like, oh, Alan, can you come to our shop because so-and-so's kicking off? And there'd be a lot of regulars and whatever. But I'll never forget the day when I could hear CCTV to Netto, Netto receiving. And I was like, oh, Netto, it's kicking off in Netto. Netto to CCTV, CCTV receiving. Yeah, we've got a man, he's wandering around, he's looking quite suspicious, just keep an eye on him. CCTV receiving, over. So I'm going, oh, what's going on Netto, right? This shop doesn't exist anymore. It was like a supermarket. So then I'm like, we're all gathering around this radio. Netto to CCTV, CCTV receiving. Yeah, the man's left the store, he's been acting odd, can you just see if he's taken anything, right? Next thing you hear, CCTV to Netto, Netto receiving. Yeah, the man appears to be pleasuring himself with some bacon. Right? We all absolutely
I did not
died.
expect that.
And he was out the front in the trolleys with a pack of raw bacon.
What pleasure it is.
I promise you.
Nobody tells a
promise you.
story better than our Sian Welby. I was there in that moment. How do you pleasure yourself with bacon?
I think he was using it as...
Smoked or unsmoked?
Don't know.
Fiona in Bristol wants to know, how long does it take for the Friday 6am song to be written? It really sets me up for the weekend. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're all doing fab. Oh, thank you, Fiona. So, for those of you who don't know, every Friday at 6:10, we come straight on the radio, say hello, and then Chris Stark does a 6am roll call to Billy Joel's, what's the song?
We didn't start the fire.
So it goes, we are the 6amers. And basically, in a song, Chris Stark shouts out all of your songs. Here's the most recent one.
Although sweating like a pig, wafting brushes, licking wrist. Anyone with a musty pit, Jordan's got a menopause mist. All the world is in the heat, masseurs dealing with the feet. Feel for people blowing glass, all the chefs with sweaty past.
We are the 6amers.
We get up to graft, others call us daft. Cargo ships out on the Mersey, builders feeling parched and thirsty. Single Pringles feeling flirty, landfill operators dirty. Postmen in shorts are feeling
smuggy.
tighter clothing feeling
Snuggy.
struggling to sleep, it's kinda
Muggy.
treat yourself to a light
Tuggy. We are the 6amers.
We see the dawn before they even yawn. Big up the examinees, finishing GCSEs. Summer's here, do as you please. Time for making memories.
Yes!
Go get out, enjoy the sun. Make sure you all spurf it on.
Feathers plucker, sons are plucking till the feather plucker comes. We are the 6amers.
Summer equinox, the hot weather rocks.
We are the 6amers.
Holidays incoming, Jordan likes a good book to read.
It's class. It's so good. Our 6amers love it. We say if you listen from 6 till 7, you're part of the 6am club. I think it's great. Chris, how long does it take you to do it? Because
So the thing is, it's obviously it's like a weekly register. So we go on air on a Friday and we say, let us know if you want your job shouted out. But what I have to do now, because this has become such a tradition, is I kind of have to write so much of it before the Friday so that we can still shout out jobs that are on the Friday, but I have to kind of start thinking about it a day or two before, because you have to make little rhymes and you've got to make, like, it. At first it just started, it didn't sound how it does now, you know, when we started this thing.
You say that, but it was amazing from the get-go. But I know what you're saying. It's evolved and become such a tradition that you have to have the bulk of it ready and then you insert the last-minute jobs
exactly.
to make them right.
It's almost like, I'm not calling it a piece of art, but if you were drawing a picture, it's almost like I've sketched it all out except for final little bits. Because you also want to talk about things that have happened that week. you want it to rhyme. So it's become a thing that at first, and it is really fun to do, but I have to start stressing about it now the day before because I know this thing's coming. It's just become part of our language. Friday we do the 6 a.m. roll call. But what I love about it is, and I don't think there's any other radio show that cares as much about people that are listening to their show right from the start. A lot of radio shows, when they go on air, because the truth of it is at like 8 o'clock or when the school run is, between 8 and 9, that gets so busy because everyone's on their way to work, they're dropping off on the way to school. That I'm sure a lot of work goes into the rest of the show, but right at the start at 6 o'clock in the morning, there's a lot of people listening, but compared to the rest of the show, it's a lot less.
Well, it's not our peak hour.
So
most people save all the good stuff for the peak hour, which means that everyone else, and especially the 6amers, I think are way more engaged. They're listening properly, aren't they?
I agree. So and we could go into this another time, and I find it really interesting, but I don't want to bore everyone. We have like a clock, and from 8 till 9, it is our peak hour when we get most listeners. And what I love about our 6 a.m. hour is, let's be honest, most of our radio shows pre-record it the day before. They do.
Yeah, but this is what I'm getting at. No one properly cares. No one properly cares about that 6 to 7 hour the way we do.
Yeah, and it's
if we're being really honest, no one puts as much effort into that hour. I don't think listening around to other shows. I don't think there's another radio station or another show that puts as much effort.
Some shows start at 7. Others 6:30. We're on at 6. It's live. It's all about being in that club, feeling part of it, and how nice it's, Sean, when people come up to us and go, "I'm a 6 a.m er."
It's my favourite thing.
I'm a 6 a.m er. It's like not only do we listen to Capital Breakfast, I'm a 6 a.m er. So that song you do is
which is why the reason I want to say that is because I do put a lot of effort into it, and I do think about it. I'm always thinking of
writing stuff,
and then we get a load of shout outs on the Friday as well, which I can then add in or fit into the words that rhyme with some of the things I've kind of pre-made. You have to do most of it. But I love it, and it's become a tradition, and so it's worth the effort. So the truth of it is, for that 1 minute of radio, I am thinking about it a disproportionate amount of time throughout the week. I'm probably thinking in total for about 5 or 6 hours.
What I would say,
but it's worth it.
But Chris and this is something I would say about anything that you watch that feels fun, spontaneous, exciting. Of course it is, but the reality is the best chaos is the controlled chaos, where actually you've put a lot of thought and time into something, so much so that we're all so relaxed we can just do it.
Yeah.
So I think you're the most relaxed and natural when actually you've put a load of planning in beforehand.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, Fiona, it actually does weirdly take a long time to write, but it's totally worth it. And I would say to anyone who doesn't have the radio on at the time, but maybe is going to the gym or something like that, listen to our show from 6 o'clock if you can, because I genuinely, as a bit of a radio nerd, as we all are, I do not think, or I've never been involved in a radio show or station that puts so much effort into that first hour of the radio show.
We do. Go on, we'll do one more quickly.
Chris in Worcester wants to know, now you've got a podcast, can Jordan tell the famous Guinness joke, which our listeners on Capital must be so intrigued, because we do reference it quite a lot. Sadly, it's so rude. And it's very visual.
Yeah, well, look, it all started from my other podcast, Help Us Sex on My Boss, which you can listen to on Global Player as well. But we did do it in front of there's a picture here behind me of me doing the Guinness joke in front of the Jonas Brothers. You've heard it before. All I'll say is, if you ever see me in a pub, buy me a pint of Guinness, I'll tell you the Guinness joke.
Well, let's say that if you're a podcast listener and you see Jordan out in the wild, you're entitled to telling her the Guinness joke.
And I'll tell you the Paul McCartney one as well.
Oh, yeah.
I still haven't heard that.
I've not heard that.
All right, I'll tell it now, and if you want to cut it, you can cut it, but... For the edit, I've just told them the Paul McCartney joke. It did get cut from Sexted, so I was pushing my luck. I've just been told I'm being looked by our executive producer, it's also being cut from this. So if you see me in the pub... I
don't think that's... Ask for the Guinness joke.
Ask for the Guinness joke.
It will affect your wholesome brand, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Was it that bad?
Yes. And I think on that note, we should probably say goodbye.
So if you want to send in a email to us, it's aftershowshow@capitalfm.com. Aftershowshow@capitalfm.com. If it's a question about something you heard on one of the shows, something you've always wanted to know, an observation, a funny story, get in touch. It can be anything you want.
And of course, if it's funny, if it's interesting, we will try our best to answer your questions.
That's us done. Keep doing your podcast admin for us. You know, like subscribe, follow, review, and all that. Leave us a comment as well. You can keep up with all the episodes on Global Player or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time.